All right. Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing tonight? Um, Thank you for coming out tonight. Today we celebrate What's the Tea, a Black Girl Cancer Club social mixer as a part of the Black Girl Cancer Club podcast. And I am your host, Jonel Sion. I am a cancer survivor. I got connected to the Black Girl Cancer Club last year while I was going through treatment. Britney reached out to me as I was going through the final stages of my radiation chemo treatment and wanted to just acknowledge me as I celebrated the completion of my treatment. And from that moment, we began a friendship. And ever since she's been pursuing this endeavor, I've been witnessing the incredible work that she's been doing with women in the community, especially these women on the stage today. And so today is really to highlight Breast Cancer Awareness Month and to talk about creative leaders like the women that we have on this platform today, and to hear a little bit about their stories. Um, and so before I start, I just want to introduce everyone, and then we will jump into questions. So we have Tarasi Hadia. We have Brittany Mullins. We have Shayla James. And we have Saige Hill Roberts. Before I get into questions, I want to give you all each the opportunity to just introduce yourselves and talk about your diagnosis and where you are today.
Hi, everybody. Again, my name is Tarasi Haidia. And I was diagnosed with breast cancer last summer. I want to say June 2023. And it's been a long journey, but where I am now, um, I'm here. I'm alive. I'm breathing. I'm grateful, and I'm healthy.
Hey, hey,
I'll say that.
that's beautiful.
So my name is Brittany Mullins. I was diagnosed with breast cancer at the age of 31. I was HER2 stage 4, and I am currently going on 3 years remission, and I am currently still in treatment. Yeah, I'm still in treatment.
Hi, my name is Shayla. I was diagnosed with inductal carcinoma, stage 3. I had to get a mastectomy and I am in remission, but I still receive treatments.
Hi, I'm Sage Hill Roberts. I was diagnosed November 3rd, 2022, at the age of 30. I was stage 1, teetering on stage 2 for breast cancer. And today I'm just here sharing my story. I share it with my clients at work. So just want to make sure that everybody gets themselves checked.
Thank you. Um, I want to start with this is going to be a question for all of you, but I know for myself, when I was told I was um, diagnosed with cancer, the immediate thing was, man, all the work that I've been working on, like what's going to happen to that? So can you kind of talk about that moment, Tarasi? How you dealt with the diagnosis and how you thought about your work at that moment?
Um, Ooh, yeah. I would say for me, how I felt, it was definitely like everything is coming to a halt. Like I felt like, ooh, like I was just getting started. Like I'm doing stuff. Like I was actually in transition and moving and trying to move back onto my own. And that just made me, it just put a whole pause on everything. But at least in my mind, I'll say that. But when I thought about it and I kept the mind frame that I had, I say, I just when I could, I just never really stopped feeding and pouring into my goals and the things that I wanted to do for myself. And I think that's part of why I'm able to not really look like what we've been through, is by keeping that same drive even in my down moments. Whenever I got a spurt of energy, I just be like, all right, it's time to go, time to do what I need to do. So I would say that, yeah. I guess that sums it up.
Okay. No, thank you for that. I mean, Brittany, it's incredible. You've created a platform, the Black Girl Cancer Club, based on your own journey. Can you kind of talk about what inspired that?
So when I got diagnosed with breast cancer, I felt like no one looked like me. Um, I felt very alone. I actually had Shayla by my side, who I knew had been diagnosed, and I think we're like a month apart. So that was the person that I kind of knew that looked like me, and just like her words, because she was kind of like a month ahead of me with treatment. I kind of would like call her like, hey, how is this gonna go? And she's like, oh yeah, that chemo, like you gonna have an appetite. So then I felt like when I had chemo, I was like, oh, I got an appetite. And I felt like that was really important for me because I always seen a timeline of what things would look like after treatment. So in my mind, I was kind of like, oh, I'm gonna be good. And I felt like that helped me a lot. And my friends definitely treated me like I was normal when I was bald. And when I looked up, for me, I was transitioning my look. They kept hanging out with me. They kept treating me like I was normal. And I felt like that was important for my health, my mental. And I feel like that's how I survived cancer. And of course, when I found out I was diagnosed, I was like, "What, God? I am cute. I am nice. Like, I thought I was adorable. Like, how could you do that to me?" And then definitely had to humble myself and ask him now, like, why not me instead of why me? Like, I'm thankful for this journey and this sisterhood. And I started Black Girls Cancer Club because I had a community, I had a sisterhood, and I think it's very important to have community and sisterhood. And that's why I started Black Girls Cancer Club. And
That's what's up.
yeah.
No, thank you. Shayla, I mean, you probably have like started one of the more iconic brands in our community with So Oakland. Like so much of it kind of embodies the grit and just the determination of Oakland. Um, I'm curious, how did that impact your like endeavor with that being diagnosed with cancer?
Okay, so for me, when I heard my diagnosis, I was actually was you know what? I was actually on this date with this guy when I found out, and I was mad because I was like, he don't deserve to get these emotions because it was a fresh date, you know? So I was like, dang, like, why am I finding out with him? And so I was really holding it in. And I remember I cried heavy, and then I called my friend, and she was like, cry. And I think I told you the same thing. Cry, get it out, do what you need to do, get your ass up, we gotta fight, and let's go. So that's what I did. And the only thing that was difficult for me is even before the diagnosis, I was a go, 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 hustle, hustle, hustle. I didn't know how to ask for help. I was doing everything by myself. Like, I experienced burnout, but that was just how I operated. So when I got diagnosed and I had to sit down, so Oakland had to sit down. It was very still. It was very quiet. It was a reminder to myself that I needed help because my brand is silent and it still needed to move. I was in denial, and I was forcing myself to try to still be connected to the things that I did before I was diagnosed because it gave me a sense of normalcy. So Shayla is doing So Oakland. Everybody's like, you need to do So Houston. Okay, I'm gonna do it So Houston. Shayla, you need to do makeup. I'm gonna do that. So I kept telling myself these things over and over and over again because I still wasn't connecting with the fact that I had cancer. I was like, yeah, no, I'm normal. I'm Shayla. I'm about to get these things done. And so I would try to touch the things that I used to do, and I would be like, I would light the wick, and it would light, and then it would go out. I would try it again, it would go out. And I didn't understand that, and I would call my friend, and my friend would be like, girl, I need you to understand that you're going through one of the biggest journeys in your life, and I need you to relax, because I used to be like, damn, like I'm not doing nothing. Like I feel like a bum right now. Like, and she's like, girl, like you have breast cancer right now. And I'm like, I know, but I gotta get these things done, because I just didn't want to accept the fact that that was what was happening to me. I had just moved to Houston, and breast cancer was not something that was part of the plan. I was moving to Houston to find my husband and to find my man. No, but everything else but that. And then a month after I moved there, I was diagnosed. And so I went from trying to enjoy the city to like, oh my God, I have to find a whole cancer team to keep me alive. And I'm in a new city. I don't know where it's not like a common cold. Like I gotta find me a good cancer team that actually cares about me, and I'm not just someone that just has cancer. And I'm super appreciative of being in Houston. Let me tell you how God works. Houston has the top cancer facilities in the world. And I was like, God, you play way too much. And I was like, oh, this is why you brought me here. You needed me to be still here. And I was in a place, didn't know anybody, and I was like, all right, I need to go through this journey in this peaceful place where I don't know anybody. And I was super appreciative of that time. And it was just it was one of those things where I just had to do what I had to do. My friends was like, I know you're never gonna call us and tell us that you're feeling sad or you need support, because they know me. I am a Capricorn. I do not like asking for help. And I'll probably cry behind closed doors and come out and act like everything's okay. So my friend was like, we're gonna pull up on you. They all did like a calendar. We was like, we're gonna pull up on you because we know that you're not gonna let us know. But, I just had to sit still and just I was like, so Oakland is gonna be there when I'm done, and also understand the things that I did do, because I started to feel like I didn't accomplish anything because I'm supposed to keep going. So it was just one of them things, like, so Oakland is still here, and it was just one of those things where I just had to let go and let God and allow him to lead me, and he did, and I'm still here.
That's what's up. Amen. No, that's real. I think I wanted to do a documentary of my whole cancer treatment, and as soon as I got into chemo, I was like, nah, I'm good.
Relax.
I'm
Take
good.
A
Like, y'all don't want to see this.
Take a seat.
Saige, can you talk about your journey and like supporting your clients? Like, did you take a pause when you were going through treatment, or did you continue to work with clients as you were going through it?
Oh, I took that time off. I was not playing about it. When I got diagnosed, I was actually at work, and I had just, like Shayla, just moved to a whole new town, and had just moved in with my partner. And earlier that year, we got hit by a drunk driver, so I was already having like some health issues. But then getting diagnosed, I took that time off, and I just was like, I need to sit still. I need to just take that time to focus on myself, focus on my health, and make sure I'm okay, because if I'm not okay, I can't help anybody else. And going through that journey, I had family, I have friends checking in on me. My partner has been like the most supportive woman ever. Like, couldn't be here without her, to be completely honest. Um, it I think going through that journey and taking that time to myself and like reconnecting with my art and taking art therapy versus just talking to somebody like really helped. Um, Whenever I go back into work, I take that with me. So like when I'm talking to my clients, I'm like, please go get yourself checked. Like, fight for your like health. Make sure that if you're getting a diagnosis that you don't agree with or you don't think it's right, go and seek a second opinion. Make sure that you're good, because you can't help your children if you're not there. So I've always been open about my journey. One of the biggest things was the fact that I moved out to that new town and didn't have other people, other folk like me, who was like young, who had cancer, who was like going through it, and I was seeking out that community. So I decided I was going to post my journey, whatever appointment I needed to go to, the fact that I was going into the different surgeries for the mastectomy, sitting in the office because you're going back to different offices and you're sitting there forever. You know, if you don't show that journey, people don't really know. But you don't, but I didn't want to show it where it was like, oh, woe is me. I want you to see like I'm fighting. Yeah. So I wanted other people to fight too for themselves.
That's real. And I think you touched, yeah. You touched upon something, documenting your journey. And Brittany, you talked about being a part of this community and then wanting it to offer it to other Black women. Let's keep it real. There's some vulnerable times in that. Like, can y'all talk about the moments of vulnerability and what that looks like, and who are your people that you call on?
Okay. So for me, I'm much like them or her. I don't really ask when I don't really talk a lot when stuff is going on with me with none of my friends like that. It's very rare. The main person that probably see me the whole time, like in my emotional state, was my mom and another friend, I would say, and my brother sometimes. But my mom was the one who see me the most. So, and she was taking care of me, and I wasn't coming to her either. Like, I'm good, Mom, I got it. Like, chill. You hungry? No, just let me lay here. Like, no, for real. Like, it gets ugly, it gets gritty, but I think that light that each one of us has in us up here fought and still continues to fight, because the fight isn't over, to be honest. Yeah, I said, let me re-say what I said. I'm healthy in the sense of my mind, right? We still battle a lot. We get hot flashes. Y'all see I'm up here like this. Yes. It's a lot that go into it. So to circle back to as far as being vulnerable, it was a little hard, but I did find vulnerability in letting people know every now and then, like, what I was going through. I found vulnerability in posting, like you said. Like, I thought I was gonna be posting my whole little journey. I did one little video. I say, "Yup, y'all catch me when y'all catch me," and it was sort of like that. So my vulnerability just was like in spurts, but I would say that I really didn't call on people. I didn't. I just, like she said, like, we just gonna thug it out. Sometimes it's just one of those fights that sometimes we like, nah, like I don't know. And when you're already like that, when you're already that type of person, it's just hard to be like, people be like, if you call me if you need me, you need food, you want, I'm like, yeah. And then another thing, side note, people who do promise you things and don't show up, it makes you not want to reach out to people. Yeah. You know, people will say, I'm going to be here. I got you. Like, okay, I'm already like this. So if I call you and you don't say nothing, then you don't be surprised if you don't hear from me. So it was kind of like that for me, I'll say. Yeah.
Yeah, nah, I feel y'all. I definitely hated asking. They made it so that, like, everybody just did, like, DoorDash credits for me. Because I didn't want no one dropping food off at my house, like, because I probably wasn't going to eat it. So
that was a good one. DoorDash credit?
Hell yeah.
I need that one for another treatment day.
Yeah, you don't want to do that again. Yeah. Brittany, your moment of vulnerability, and who was that community?
So my vulnerability would have to be definitely my mom. Definitely my daughter. I would say that that's one of the people, my daughter, who like just kept me going. She was 3 at the time, so it was like, you ain't about to sit down. I think it was very hard for me to make a decision also to move in with my parents and allow them to fully take care of me, because I was so used to being independent. I've been independent since I've been 18 years old. So I think moving in with my mom and dad and just needing anybody was hella hard for me. I think that it taught me that I did have family. I think when I went to college, I was like, I ain't got nothing. I'm grown. I'm this, but I needed I needed help because I had a 3-year-old. And I think that in the process of it, I've learned more about my parents. I've learned about me more and why I do the things that I do now, because I needed people. So I had to get along with people. I couldn't be Britney. I couldn't be independent. So, yeah, I think vulnerable. I was more vulnerable with my parents. It wasn't like this grown woman anymore. I was like, can you cook for me? Oh, can you do the baby's hair? I think that was the part for me too, like the neuropathy in your fingers, and just being vulnerable to say, hey, mom, I can't do my daughter's hair today, and not break down in tears. It keeps me balanced now. Like, I'll ask for anything now. So, yeah.
Yeah. Nah, the neuropathy is crazy.
It kicked my ass this
Yeah.
week, by the way. Sorry to curse. Yeah. Neuropathy. Yeah, the tingling of the fingers. Yeah. For most people who don't know, neuropathy comes after chemotherapy. So we all randomly during the day will get sharp pains, numbness in our fingertips and the tips of our toes. That's what neuropathy is that you're hearing us talk about. So
Yeah. Shayla, you talked about your girl showing up for you in your moment of vulnerability. Was there anybody else?
No, because like I said, I kind of just wanted to thug it out alone. And even though that's what I said, like my friends had to like, Shayla, just checking in on you because I know you're not gonna text us and let us know. I know you're not gonna do, And I did let my people know. Let me tell you the type of support that I need, because when I first shared publicly, it was very overwhelming. But at the same time, I wanted people to see my journey, because they're used to me pulling up in other spaces, and understand that just like that, your life could just change just like that. Your plans can change just like that. So I wanted them to see me like that. But also I had to understand without taking it personal that this was my journey and I'm setting my boundaries, and I understand that you're doing it your way. So it was a lot of people telling me what mushroom tea I should drink. There was a lot of people telling me not to, every time I post something, I'm like, yeah, I'm about to eat Shayla, don't you eat that tofu. Or I'm outside enjoying myself, because I got dressed and I kept my lipstick popping and I was outside. And even with that joy on my face and even with me having a good time, it was always, are you okay? You don't see me shaking my ass right now? like I'm trying to I'm having a good time. And cancer is very mental. It's very mental. And a lot of times you don't feel the cancer, it's the prescription, but it's very mental. And so I learned to have these conversations. It may seem cliche, but I learned to have these conversations in the mirror by myself, naked, looking at my body, looking at my hair, preparing myself like, girl, you are beautiful. You are fine. You are this. You are that. Continuously telling myself those things over and over and over and over again. So anything anyone had to say, it didn't affect me. And so I did a lot of mind exercises. And so far as vulnerability, I remember this one particular moment. I was driving, and I think like doctor's appointments multiple times a week. My life went from doing what I want to my charts and dings going off every couple minutes, like chemo, this, you got an appointment here, oncology, you got to draw your blood. And it was like, oh my gosh. And so, I kept it together months at a time, like, nope, you got this. And one day, Yolanda Adams came on. What song is that? Yes. And I'm driving, and I remember I felt guilty for feeling bad or complaining that I had to go to the doctor, because I'll always be like, well, there's somebody in a worse situation for me, so you don't have to. But I had to give myself a moment. I pulled over. I was driving to the doctor because I was so tired. I was tired that this became my life. I was tired of driving to the I didn't come to Houston for this. I was tired, and I pulled over, and I literally just cried. And it was the best cry. I think I was holding it in for months because I didn't give myself that time to do that, because everybody saw me smiling. Like, I'm going to chemo, y'all. I'm dressed, y'all. I'm okay. It's good, but at the same time, in the back of my mind, I know that this was affecting me, but I felt like I didn't have time to, because my friend said, get up, you got to fight. I felt like I didn't have time to Black women feel weak because we're feel like strong Black women all the time. And no, don't give me that. I don't want that title. I don't want that strong title, and it's not weakness, but I had to really train myself to understand, like, give yourself grace. It's okay. Yeah. You're going through this. You will be good. Yeah. So the vulnerability was, like, I still need to learn that, like, I'm okay with sharing, but at the same time, it's like, it's just trauma. You learn that it has a lot to do with trauma. You got, whatever it is. And so you have to learn to just relax and give yourself grace and not feel so guilty. So, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Grace, yeah. Saige, you mentioned your partnership, how it played a huge part in your journey. I could relate. My fiance like held me down every single day, and um, I know it was hard on her. Can you talk about how you and your partner navigated this journey?
Well, um, me and my partner, like, we made sure to keep like open communication about what was going on, and like the fact that I've had that vulnerable moment of, I feel less than, like, I feel like this is not the person that you came to like meet. This isn't the person that you knew. And now I'm disfigured in a way. And it just, there was a moment where I like sat with her and I just was like, I'm sorry that I look this way. And I'm like, I felt bad because I had like just came out the mastectomy, and you have tubes that come out of you, and you have to like ask for that help. You have to ask for her to like wash your back, or like to make sure that you're good, and like make sure that you're able to lay in bed comfortably. You can't reach for anything when you have that mastectomy. You have to keep yourself close. And so, like, opening up to her and saying like what I needed, and her being there and always going above and beyond. Like, when I came home from the mastectomy, she literally had like the projector screen set up for me, and like she brought me breakfast that she made, and she made my favorite grits. But she really held it down, and she made sure like every appointment, either she was there or she was checking in, or she was just like, there was never a moment I felt like I was by myself. And that to me was like the biggest thing. Like I said, I couldn't be here without her.
Man,
We
yes,
love her.
yes, yes. Okay.
Okay, I got one more thing to say. I forgot to say. I would say, to add to my vulnerability, like I said earlier, I never really opened up to too many friends around me, even when they asked me. And I would say the first person that I really was like, okay, I'm going through it, like, was Britney. Like, after meeting her and we hung out a couple times, after my podcast interview, it was just one day where I don't even know where I was going, what was going on. Oh Lord, wait a minute. I don't know. I don't know what I
That
was
menopause.
doing, girl. No, I don't want to. I don't. But I was really just bawling, like, and it took me a while to cry. Like, when I first got diagnosed, I was making jokes about it. Like, I'm so goofy. I'll just be like, all right, like I knew it was something serious. So I was like, okay, well, I got to do what I got to do, however I want to do that. And I don't remember around what time this was, but this was fairly after treatments. It probably was still like towards the end, but I was just bawling, like, to where, like, I had to hit her. I'm like, hey, what you doing? She like, nothing. I was like, you want to go to lunch? And da-da-da. She was like, yeah, or tomorrow. I said, no, today. Like, please, at 911. But I didn't want to, like, put that on her. Like, and so she met me, and we went to Benihana's, and then we sat and we talked about it. And I just told her, like, girl, like, just talk to her. And she was there to really, like, she really showed up for me. So, like, I really appreciate you for that. Like, you don't know, you've been like a big person for me going through this. Like, oh God, see this that vulnerability we talk about. But like, no, like I really feel like I found like a great friend in you, and it was important for me to meet you, to have somebody who's going through it. Like, I have a cousin who's going through it, but we wasn't as close at the time, so it was important for me to meet somebody who's already been going through it and just had the right thing to say, and who just showed up. Like, you barely knew me really, like, but we just kind of clicked. You know what I'm saying? Yes, and we met some people who actually, yeah, like, we wound up sitting next at the same table with this lady that actually wound up reminding me of my grandmother, which was scary. But I think it was God telling me, no, you know what? I always put you in the right places for other people, so I'm gonna show up for you today in the weirdest of way. And I just would never forget that day, and I always appreciate it. So I just want to say that.
You will always be my friend.
Thank you for that. Yeah, that was dope. That was dope. Um, Switching gears, can y'all talk a little bit about where you are now in terms of your professional journeys and how I think your cancer diagnoses have impacted that? Like for me, um, I was just having this conversation with my business partner, and we were just talking a little bit about like how intentional I am about things that I work on, and I've become better at saying no to things, and really being selective about the things that I work on, and even the people I surround myself around. Um, so yeah, I would love to hear how you are navigating that.
We can time in
Brittany,
on
you can.
that.
Yeah, go ahead, Brittany.
I think that being diagnosed with breast cancer has definitely made me more driven. I think that I'm a very creative person. I think everybody knows that. But I think that I don't, before this, I would just say things and like wouldn't really, do it. And I think having breast cancer, whatever I set my mind to, I'm adamant about doing. I think it's a part of you being diagnosed with cancer and you feel like you only have so much time on this earth. So I'm way more adamant about things now. And my quote of the year is, "You stress me, I disappear." So I think that I'm more comfortable with like like talking about how I feel, and like you said, saying no and being very selective and just being on my mission. And it's crazy. My best friend is right there. I had applied right there. She's right there. Yeah, I had applied to nursing school last year, and I did not get accepted. And it was devastating for me, and it was crazy because I was crying, and I was like, what? He's just messing up everything. He gives me cancer. I don't get accepted to the school I want to go to. And she looked at me, and she's just shaking her head, and she's like, you have a bigger mission. And so I think after that, I knew that I wanted to start this organization, Black Girls Cancer Club podcast. And I think that I'm more determined than any other organization right now, because I'm on a mission for God. And so I think that me being diagnosed with cancer, before that, I wouldn't have been on a mission to just start something like this. And so I think me being diagnosed, I'm like, it's all or nothing. And I think going through chemo, going through treatment, I'm kind of arrogantly like, shit, I went through the worst. So what's up next, right? Like, I ain't gonna be dealing with your stuff. I already got a lot of stuff going on. So I think that cancer has definitely built me to be stronger and more selective. And unfortunately, we look at life differently. Like, we ain't got time for the BS. Like, we ain't got time for it at all, because it affects our health. So, yeah.
Can you the question again?
The question is, how has your cancer diagnosis impacted the way you
Okay.
approach your
Like,
work now?
okay. I would say for me, it set a real fire under me. Like she was like I was already doing, stuff or whatever, like cuz I'm a dancer, choreographer and I do music. So, I was like slowly approaching my music part, but for some reason like I literally recorded my whole EP during my whole chemo process. Like I was just like, I got, like you said, it sets that fire under you. It's like, I might only have a certain amount of time. You never know. The chemo might go wrong. I want to do this. This is part of my dreams and my goals and my aspirations. I have to get this out before, and somewhere in the back of my mind, it's too late. So it really just set that drive. It definitely made me a little more selective, but at the same time, it made me more forgiving. It made me let a lot of stuff go, that and life is too short. I just be like whatever, like, but my tolerance is very little for BS. So it definitely changes you as a person, for the better. Once if you go about it mentally the right way, it definitely changes you for the better. So that's what I say in short. Yeah.
Cool. Sage?
Yeah.
Or no,
Yeah.
or one
Oh,
of y'all.
cool, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, I can say it was a little different. What people don't talk about is not talked about enough is trying to find out trying to find this new person after cancer. I knew who I was before cancer, but I struggled after cancer. It was very, very difficult for me because, like I said, I was always used to like knowing what I wanted to do, knowing the hustle, knowing how I wanted to hustle. And it was so hard. It was very difficult for me. There would be times, like I said, there would be times like I'm just trying to touch on all the things that I used to do, but it would never stick. And, and looking at what people saw what I was supposed to be doing. So I'm like, oh, they said I was supposed to be doing like, okay, I'm about to drop this. Okay, I'm about to drop this. But that was because those are the things I did before. So after, I'm like, who is this new Shayla? I'm very uncomfortable. Nothing is sticking. Will I ever be creative again? Will I ever be inspired again? It was scary. It was a very scary time for me because, like I said, I always knew, like I would think of something and I would already have it planned out. And there was just a time where I would be sitting on my couch, staring literally at the wall, waiting for a light bulb, waiting for this, oh, you're creative today, you're creative again. And it would be days and days and days and days. I had to find a therapist because I was trying to prevent myself from thinking about, am I going to die today? Am I going to die tomorrow? Oh my God, I need to hurry up and do all these things because I might die tomorrow. So, okay, what are the things that I love? All right, I love fashion. Okay, I'm going to be a stylist because I don't know. I'm about to die tomorrow. I don't know. And so I had to, like, the work was trying to reverse those thoughts and just be in the moment. And I remember my therapist, she would say, okay, this is what you've been through. There is nothing you could do about it. And, somebody could get hit by a car and die tomorrow, and you could live, X amount of time outside of like how long, whatever. And so for me, I remember I took a trip to Colombia. Like, it was a random trip to Colombia. I needed to get away. I needed some time. I just needed to go. And that time was just me in my own space, in my own peace, just walking and thinking. And I remember when I came back from that trip, and I came back and I start feeling good. I start feeling inspired. I remember I got dressed and did a get ready with me. I was so proud of myself. I recorded it. I was like, oh my God, my creativity is coming back. I'm excited. But it was a very uncomfortable situation. But what I learned is you have to get uncomfortable in order to grow. And I've always lived by that. That's why I might, I'll move away and I'll try different things because I like to challenge myself. And so I'm in a very good space now. Like, all these ideas I have, I just take it one day at a time and, let God lead me.
Yeah.
And
Amen.
he hasn't failed me yet, and he
Amen.
will not.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'm in a beautiful space.
That's what's up. And shout out to you for the therapy work.
Yes.
I found that
Love
as
me a good therapist.
yeah, that was a huge part of my journey too.
Yeah.
Going through
Mhm.
therapy. Sage, how has it impacted the way you approach your creative and professional life now?
It's definitely impacted the fact that, so I'm an employment and training counselor, and my whole goal is to help either single parents that are receiving CalWorks or parents that, or double parent households that receive CalWorks, to get them out. A lot of times they focus on just their children, and so they're not focused on, well, has mom or dad gone to school? Does mom and dad have an education? Or they're dealing with domestic violence issues, and so on and so forth. And so um, it's changed how I approach how I talk to them. I always leave the conversation as, I want you to tell me what's going on in your life, because you have a story to tell just as I have a story to tell you. And in order for us to get you in the right direction, I need to hear what you're going through. And so it's allowed me to be more open to receiving what they're telling me and being able to say, like, okay, so these are the different programs and these are the different agencies that I want you to talk to. And one of the biggest things for me with going through the journey was I had to be vulnerable enough to ask for that help. And so not only was I going to the therapy sessions, but I was also speaking with the cancer center that was local, and then also speaking with the college, because they gave out free food from the classes that were doing culinary arts. And we were able to have like ready meals for me when I couldn't cook or when my partner couldn't cook. So it was a way for me to learn my community and then be able to share that with the people that I was working with and say, like, okay, you're going through this journey too, so you're going to speak with this doctor, you're going to ask them about these things, you're going to set yourself up this way, that way your kids are prepared or they're able to have food on the table if you're not able to cook. It changed how open I was. And it just allowed me to be able to like really hear them and really be able to like push that narrative, like, you can do this. Like, if I've gone through this treatment and I've gone through these like surgeries, I know that you're going to be able to go to that class, or you're going to be able to do these things. So it gave me that push to say, like, I've gone through this, you could do that too.
Man, that's real. Yeah, I think Brittany, you might have said it. You always question why you are, blessed with this journey that you're on, and then you realize like God chose you for a reason to be able to, inspire and help others. And I think you just sharing that as a testament, Saige. I know we're getting close to the end of time. I'm gonna just throw a curveball out there because it's about the future and shit. We might have I think we're gonna have a black female president in like a month, right? So
It better.
so yeah.
Ooh,
What does the future look like for each of you, and what are you dreaming up in 2025 and beyond?
I'm hoping that we are more represented. I was gonna ask my girls, how do they feel this month? Do they feel represented? Do they feel like their voices are heard? Just being a black woman, I've done a lot of events for breast cancer. Some have been paid, some have not. And I always quite feel still misunderstood, misrepresented. And I wanted to ask the girls, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. How do you guys feel this month? Do you guys feel like, besides my community, that you guys have a community? Like, how do you guys just feel as black women being diagnosed with breast cancer? Like, did you guys feel like you guys had a voice in the healthcare system? Did you guys feel like you didn't? I know for me, it took me 6 months for someone to take serious that I felt a lump. And I work for the healthcare organization, and because it took 6 months, I had to go through the whole shebang. I had to go through chemo. I had to go through fertility. I had to go through multiple surgeries, whereas the first time when I went, if someone had someone would have just heard my voice and listened to me, I might have caught it earlier. So how do you guys feel this month?
I'll say this month is a little bit different compared to like last year. I really felt like there was a lot of pink washing that was happening, and it really like got under my skin just to see like pink washing. So, pink washing is basically when you slather pink over something and you say that you're supporting for breast cancer awareness, but you're not actually like helping breast cancer patients. So, you have a lot of companies out there, a lot of major companies that are wearing pink and are not actually helping those who are experiencing breast cancer. Um, but there are the few that are like really getting in there. So I suggest like really do your research on the companies that you um, pay money to. But um, this month I feel a little bit more supported with like my healthcare. And it's just because like I changed doctors. I'm now at a healthcare facility out in Sonoma, and it just I feel more heard. I'm going to like my doctor's visits a lot more often. I will say this is a huge jump from how I was first diagnosed, because I had had the unfortunate incident of going to a doctor and she basically not wanting to check me and not wanting to do an ultrasound or a mammogram. And I'm explaining like there's something wrong, there's a lump, and she just completely dismissed me and like let me leave. And a year later, I ended up going to the facility in our area, and that's when I was actually diagnosed. And to then later find out that the person that did not diagnose me, that did not really check me, was an actual like oncologist, a breast cancer oncologist. So yes, there was a whole level of like anger there, but I feel like now dealing with the doctors that I deal with and going to my visits, I'm actually like heard. They're like checking in on me. They're saying everything about what's going on with the medication that I take, the fact that I do have like hot flashes now and I'm a little more moody now, like there's a huge change, but I'm informed about that now versus not being told anything, or we'll figure this out in a couple weeks. And I want to know now. Like, I'm looking at the my chart with like scan anxiety. Like, I need to know, let's go. So it's definitely different now. And I feel like, I know you said besides you, but I'm going to say having the Black Girls Cancer Club podcast has been like a huge thing. And I feel like actually supported, and I like proudly wear the sweatshirts and hoodies. So just letting you know, proudly wear them.
Yes, this month. Okay, I can say that. I mean, going through my journey, and living in Houston, like I said, I was blessed to find an amazing oncologist and team, and to be in a facility with a lot of Black women and Black men and just Black doctors that call me cousin, are you okay, you good, you need anything? Like, they were really pouring into me and loving on me. And so I've always felt supported in my journey. But it's crazy though, because I would get DMs all the time from people who are going through that, and they're like, my doctor said I don't need a mammogram. My doctor won't give me this test. And I'm just like, advocate for yourself. You have to advocate for yourself. And I didn't even realize that, that was really happening, because my experience was just so different. Now I feel like maybe if it was a doctor that wasn't of color, then it probably would have been a different experience. But I make sure that anybody who is going through it, don't just take that answer that they gave you and run with it. You don't have to take those pills. Do your research, because sometimes they'll just number 572, here's your pills, there you go. Next, that's all they hear over and over again. So I can say this month and prior, I have been very supported through my journey.
That's good. To piggyback kind of off of what both of you guys said, I would say this is actually my first month, like, well, second, but like my first month, like, out of it and actually being able to do stuff and in support of breast cancer month. I would say it's definitely a difference. I'm definitely gonna put you in there because you're the main one that I'm a part of. So definitely Black Girls Cancer Club has been a big support and just overall advocate for me. Going through it, I feel like honestly the doctors I had actually were pushing me like chill. Like they was actually trying to get me to do like you need to be on it. Even my doctor, my surgeon told me she was like, be vigilant. Be vigilant about what you're going through. She was like, literally, like, I'm serious. I was like, oh, you don't know me. I am. I'm barely here. You lucky I'm even, because I'm not a hospital Western medicine person. I don't like. It was really like the people around me, mainly my mom, who I kind of just like, okay, let me just thug it out. Let me just do it. So I did have this, and then I did have a what we call a breast cancer navigator, luckily, and she was Black, very down home, Oakland, California raised. So she definitely had my back, like, for sure, and she definitely came through with a few things financially, because you're off of work, you can't work, you can't do anything. Even I tried to go, I couldn't do it. Like, I was like, maybe I could do a couple days, it's no point. So I definitely had surprisingly, like, the hospital I was at, I got treated at Highland, so it definitely was there for the most part. I was more of the one that was like, I ain't going, I don't want to do it. My mom was like, you going, like we was getting into it low key about it, and I was just like, okay, let me, so the push was there. And I guess to clean it up, shoot, that's it. I don't like, yeah, pretty much. Yep, I'm gonna leave it at that. Yeah. So
Yeah, time.
Uh, what
Ooh.
about me?
Ooh.
Damn, it ain't about me. So no, I'm just kidding. Um, I mean, so I was diagnosed with colorectal cancer. So that's a doozy, in the sense that, like,
Where's that?
yeah, black men don't like talking about their butts. Like, that's just weird, right? Like, so to to speak on my situation, I think, yeah, I've had other men reach out to me and we have conversations, but I've also ran into elders that kept it to themselves. So, trying to be more vulnerable, more open, and conversing about my own journey, I think, is something that we're still struggling with as a community, when it comes to, like, colorectal health, especially getting colonoscopies. I think people feel weird about asking about that, and shoot, it saved my life. So I definitely advocate for it. But yeah, I think there's a need for us to continue to have these conversations. I see the Black Girl Cancer Club, leading the charge in that endeavor, and I think it's on us as men to also, lead that charge. I think I'm responsible, in that story, and in that journey. So any opportunity to support whatever the cancer is, I'm gonna show up. So um, yeah, that yeah, that's um, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, but thank you all. Is there any parting words you want to leave to the audience before are we turning it over for questions, or?
Oh, I want to say before we let the audience ask us questions, is there any questions that any of us have for each other? Um, any sister chat, anybody wants to know anything? It's kind of messed up because we kind of talk and we get the going. But is there anything that like you want to ask me? You guys have a question for me or for each other? Um,
Are we doing more panels like this?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna do more panels like this. Yeah, yeah. And who knows, I might start a Black Man Cancer Club.
There you go. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll take questions. We're
Yeah.
down for questions at
If
this
you
point.
if you have a question, you can
You
come
can
up
raise
and
your hand and ask us.
yeah. There were symptoms. So I was diagnosed when I was 38, or 37 actually. Yeah, yeah. Um, I'm about to be 39 on Tuesday. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Um, so I had been dealing with blood in my stool for about a year. The doctors thought it was hemorrhoids. Um, I asked for a colonoscopy with my primary. They told me I was too young, and I also didn't have family history. So the situation worsened during the holidays, and then I came back and ended up seeing a different physician, and he did an observation. He was like, "Oh yeah, it's internal hemorrhoids. We're gonna set you up for a procedure." So I go in to get evaluated. I get a black nurse. She's like maybe 28, 30. She's like, "Do you care who your physician is?" I was like, "Just give me the best." Um, and it turns out that the best was a black colorectal surgeon. Um, and so I go in for my hemorrhoid procedure, and he stops the procedure and says we need to have me go through a sigmoidoscopy, which is a variation of a colonoscopy. Just yeah, whatever. So I go through the sigmoidoscopy, and then he asked me to meet him in his office, and that's never a good sign. So they found the tumor through my sigmoidoscopy, and then they scheduled me for a colonoscopy, and then they found out everything else was fine. But it was literally that doctor that saved my life. So that too, yes, you're right. Thank you. Yes, yeah. So,
Yes. I just want to say too, I thank you as like a black man. Like when he posted, it's so crazy. His business partner, one of his business partners, did my event last year, and when he posted that he had cancer, I just messaged him on Instagram, and I was like, I thank you for sharing your story. And like he said, because he shared his story, this is literally like my brother. Like if I need anything or I'm feeling sick, like he's just someone I can call. So I thank you for being on this journey with me and being my brother because we locked in through this. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
all right, it's enough about me. It's about y'all. So
look, it can't be about you. It has to be about Black Girls Cancer Club.
Yeah, exactly.
Does anyone else have a question?
Anybody else have questions? Yes.
Should we give them the microphone? We should? Okay.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'd like to say that I'm super proud of each and every one of you on the panel for going through your journey and sharing your stories with us. That takes a lot of courage, and I just want to say thank you. And the next thing I wanted to say was that I too am a breast cancer survivor of how many years? 14 years. Actually multiple cancers. And but I tell you, Shayla, I really identified with your story, with attitude, and it takes a great attitude to get through a lot of these challenges. And a dear friend of mine gave me a quote, and he says, "Your attitude and your actions determine your coming attractions." And I share that with my son, who's 17 now, all the time. And he's like, "Mom, that sounds really crazy." But, I think he'll get it one day, right? But going through my own personal journey, it's been an incredible experience being an African-American woman. And I identify with some of the medical inequities that you guys have talked about, and having to, just fight for your own survival. And so that's why I'm over here, like, I'm just cheering you on because it can happen. Because here I am 14 years later, and I am at the last cancer I received. I am a 8-year survivor of stage 4 pancreatic cancer. So and so I go to chemo every 2 weeks. And I'm so thankful that I have that as an option. So I do cheer myself on, and I'm like, hey, without that option, I wouldn't, that wouldn't have other options. And so I really take on, anything that kind of comes my way, and I cheer it on. And I can see that you guys are doing the same thing. So I'm so proud.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And when you're in your next treatment, know that we are behind you. Boo, 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 boo. We're fighting with you. We're fighting with you, definitely. We're really banging on cancer, you guys.
Hi. Thank you for having this event. So my question centers on when you were kids, what was your interactions with the healthcare system that impacted whether or not you would pursue care as adults? So as somebody who's more involved in the pediatric side of a hospital, I'm just curious of what that looks like in terms of down the line, pursuing care and making sure that you're advocating for yourself.
So, did y'all hear the question?
Can y'all?
Because I heard the beginning, but.
So my question is on what were some of your interactions when you were a child with the pediatric side of the hospital, and how that influenced you as an adult, just pursuing being okay in a doctor's office, even recognized or diagnosed.
For me, as a kid, I never too much had to visit the hospital like that. It was rare, so they never really bothered me till I think I got older and got aware of things. I don't really like hospitals, but I always said that somewhere in another life I wanted to be like a nurse or a doctor. So it's kind of weird. But for me, I think other beliefs outside of that, not really my childhood, kind of like discouraged me from continuing the treatment and being in hospitals every day, every week, for me personally.
To answer that question, it's crazy. I never thought I'll tell this story. When I was 10 years old, I cheerleaded for this team, and my cheermate, I don't want to cry, my cheermate had said her head hurted, and we kind of all as a team was like, why does your head hurt? Like, what does that mean? We took her to the hospital, and we found out that she had a tumor in her brain. She was 8, I was 10, and so I think all my life I kind of just knew I wasn't exempt from cancer. So I think when it came to me feeling something, I kind of was like, you're not too young, because I had experienced it so young. Someone that was so close to me had died from a brain tumor in a snap, and she was 8 years old. So I think that me experiencing that helped me be more adamant about my health, because I never thought that I was exempt or I was too young.
For me, I've always had good experiences when I was younger going to the doctor. But also, as I got older, I did my own homework. Nutrition for me is super important. I don't play about nutrition and herbs and all that, Chinese medicine, all that. Like, I'm big on that. And so just regardless of the experience I had with my oncologist and my cancer team, I've still side-eyed the medical system just because I'm walking in a hospital with a McDonald's on the first floor. You know what I mean? Like, it don't go. You know what I mean? Or my doctor is talking to me about my diagnosis, and as soon as I mention anything nutrition, it's like, yeah, no, well, we don't know. It's prescription. And so, like, regardless, you still, they're human, and they make mistakes, and it's very important to do your own homework, your own research, but don't get too crazy on WebMD, okay? Because that will misdiagnose you seriously. But I pretty much had a good experience, and I just pretty much did my own work and the things that I had to do to make sure that I stayed alive and felt good. Because for me, also, I want to put out there, like, everybody's, like, we could have the same diagnosis and all have different experiences. All of our body makeup is extremely different. So people would want to share their experience. They'd be like, girl, oh, me too. So, you know, this is what's going to happen to you. When chemo, you about to throw up, you about to lose weight, you about to da-da-da-da-da, and this medicine that you could take, this is going to happen to da-da-da-da. And so I had to learn to set my boundaries and block out people's experiences and let myself go through it myself, because chemo for me, honestly, wasn't horrible for me. It sucked that I was going through it, but it wasn't like, I also took very care of myself before. They told me, you are going to go through chemo, you're going to do this. I cleansed my system. You know, I did alkaline diet. I did all these things. So when chemo was going through my system, I didn't feel all those things right away. So when they gave me that sheet of paper that was like, okay, you're going to pee blood, you're going to lose weight, you're not going to have an appetite. That's what I was telling her. I was like, I had an appetite.
And I didn't have none of that, too.
You know, right. I was like, I'm at the day party right now. You know, like, I'm enjoying life. But, you know, I'm like, okay, there are moments I feel tired. So I need people to understand that you are in charge of your journey. You make it how you want to make it. Don't look at somebody else's story and automatically think like, oh my God, I'm about to die. Because people love to share their personal experiences. And you know what? My cousin had cancer and she died. I am Shayla.
Oh, did I tell you that?
Oh, I'm sorry, but that you know, that's not me. And so I need people to understand, like, be very kind with your words and understand that when you're talking to someone, it's not about you, it's about them, and let them let you know again how, you know, how they want you to show up to support them. And don't get defensive and don't think that I'm just trying to show up and bring you some soup and I know I'm gonna let you know when I'm hungry, okay? I love you, but call me and crack some jokes, you know? Talk to me regular, you know? So yeah.
Instead of, hi, Shayla.
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
right.
we also have run into that, like being out in public and people are like, hi. Yeah, like, how are you doing? We're like, what's up? What's up? We outside. And they're like, okay? How is everything going?
I'm okay.
We're normal. Okay? Treat us like we're normal. I know, promise.
But are you really okay?
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Are you?
I'm
is
fine.
that a drink in your hand?
It is a drink in my hand.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
It is. So yeah, treat us like we're normal. We're normal. We're normal people, and I think that's the best thing for anyone's health is to just be normal. Yeah.
We're gonna wrap it up because this is also supposed to be a celebration.
We got mixer. We have one more question.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Okay. 2 more questions.
All right.
Okay, so this is like a 2-part.
No long-winded answers.
I only have one
I'm
person
gonna start acting like.
Okay,
we love to talk.
I'm gonna bring out the wrap it up box.
So, as women, we're always super busy. Were you all diligent about doing your self-exams? Because, you know, you get in the shower and you're just trying to get through it, and then you lay on the bed. You're like, I'm tired. Let me lotion and get in the bed. And you don't do your checks. I'm guilty of that. I might be like, okay, it's good, you know, and I don't really take the time to do my checks. So did you do your checks? And then the second part to my question is, how was it when I have alopecia? And how was it for you when you went through your treatment and your hair fell out? How did you deal with that?
Okay, I'll start. So, oh yes, I definitely was feeling all on myself all the time. But yeah, no, that's how I found out. But I was trying to figure out if it was just because I was close to my period, because you know your breasts get tender, and once that was done, it was a hard knot on the side that I was like, this doesn't feel right. So that's definitely how I found out. And as far as like losing my hair, I didn't care. Like I don't know, some of you guys know, like I've had a bald head before, even before I had went through chemo. I actually shaved my head first to prepare. And then, yeah, when I was bald, I was painting on it. I was putting different things on it. I was just showing up as my authentic self. And I never felt that like I needed to hide. I wasn't embarrassed or anything like that. I felt beautiful. And even also just outside of that, like going through, I think like going through, did you get them? Yeah, going through our surgeries, you know, like losing a breast. For me, I had a mastectomy, and I remember my doctor was like, "You're so young," and he was trying to push me to get a implant. And then I was just like, no, you know, like I don't think that I want that. I was going back and forth because he was just like, you know, you're young, you should get, you know. And then he was like, well, if you don't want that, you could get a D-flap. And then that was just like, you know, you have to gain weight to take fat off your body and build. And that was like going through like 3 surgeries. And I fought a lot with that, but I remember looking in my mirror and I just still felt hella fine. Like, I was just like, I'm still hella cute. I don't even want that. And also, I was just tired of surgeries. I was tired of going through all these things. And I was just very proud of my scars. So I just got a tattoo. And what about y'all? Like, let's talk about that.
I was definitely upset about the hair part. I had shaved my hair off prior to it. I mean, if you know me, I was that girl in the bathroom cutting the shit off. And when the doctor was like, it's coming off, I thought I was going to have a stage. I thought I was going to do the bob. Then I was going to do the Holly Berry. Yeah, no, it didn't work out like that. It literally was like, whew, gone. And I think that hurt. That was hard for me because I had became a single mom, so I was dealing with some identity things. And losing my breast, I have always been the girl to look in the mirror. I'm obsessed with my body. But when these things alter, I would share a moment with you guys real quick. I had to use the bathroom, and as cute as my outfit looks, I needed help. And T came in the bathroom with me. We were being girls. And she zipped it down, and I think it was the first time that she was able to see someone that looked just like her, with our breasts being just, I don't want to say disformed, but just having, just different. And she broke down and cried and was like, she teared up. I don't know if it says my work was like really good. No, I'm just messing with you. But I think that it's crazy, and this is why this sisterhood is so important, because we all, we go through shit too. Like, if you look in the mirror and you like, ugh, no, we right there rocking with you. So, yeah. You gonna go next? Darren's?
So I was a little different because I had already had my head shaven. My partner did it for me prior to that just because I wanted to get rid of the locks that I had. And when it came down to like going through the surgeries, I did not want to deal with any other type of surgery. They don't tell you until you get there that it's going to be multiple surgeries, and the implants flip and they do all these extra things. And I just was like, cut them off. And they like, the doctor was asking me a couple times. She was like, are you sure? And I'm like, yes, cut them off. I'm done. I do not want them. And so for me, it was, we had the left side taken out, and then a couple months later, they did the right side. I still don't know why they didn't do both of them at the same time. But to me, it was the feeling of like, I just want to be free of that fear. And I know myself to know, like, I'm going to think about this 50 million times a day if like something's wrong with the right, or like I felt a lump here, or something's different. And like, you know, I didn't want to have that thought process. So for me, it was just like, go ahead, cut them off. And I feel good. Like, I don't have to wear a bra. That's amazing. So I feel great about it.
Okay, I'm gonna make it fast. Right. For me, the hair part was nothing, because I've been cutting my hair since I was 21. I'm 28. So it was just though right before I was actually growing it out. So I was like, okay, like whatever. So that was easy for me. And I started losing my hair immediately. After the first treatment, it was like clump, clump, clump. So I just was pulling it out, washing it and pulling it out. Like, you might as well just come out. And as far as like feeling my, like, checking myself a lot, like she said, I'm always touching on my titties. Like, I'm always looking at my body. So I'm always, and how I found out, it was a hard mass in my breast, but it went away, and then it came back for like almost a year. This happened like a year span and some change, and I was like, okay, it's not going away. Let me go get a check why it's here, because the first time I got a check, it was gone. So yeah, I keep it short and say that for me. Yeah, and then
I don't really have a question. It's more so I want to just give you guys your props. You know, at the end of the day, you know, growing up, you don't really hear about stories like this. You know, you usually hear when stuff hits the fan or whatever. So for you guys to be up here talking about it, you know, sharing you guys' story or whatever, I'm really grateful, you know, because I've never been to anything like this. You know, I've been knowing Taurasi since high school. So for her to have me a point of the, you know, of the journey, I really appreciate it. I just want to basically say, you know, I'm praying for y'all. You know, you guys look good. You know, you can never judge a book by its cover. I would have never known, you know. And I just hope, you know, your guys' journey, you know, keeps going smooth, or, you know, you guys keep, you know, keeping that positive mindset that you guys have, because y'all up here smiling and y'all, you know, it's just, it's a good scene. It's a good scene, and I'm very thankful to be here.
Okay. I just wanted to express that I'm grateful to be here as well. I'm stage 4 breast cancer. Oh, wow. And ironically, my message and my communication to everyone here is that oftentimes you don't look like what you've been through. And I just want to say and give you your flowers and give myself my, you know, flowers to say that you just never know what a person is going through. But I'm here.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna be here.
And beautiful.
I think.
Well, I think it would only be right if we have the DJ turn on some music.
Yeah, DJ Hanabana on the ones and twos. So.
And I want to I'm gonna get up. I do want to say thank you to each and every one of you guys who showed up in the audience. I also want to give a special thanks to my videographer, Darrin. He's behind the camera, but honestly, look, he's like, this, okay. Honestly, I had this vision to do this podcast, and we were only supposed to do 3 episodes. And I appreciate him for rocking with me, for believing in me, for just helping me keep this going. I appreciate you beyond, and look what we created. And I pray to continue to work with you, and I know everybody's going to get a glass of wine and some coffee, and I would like everybody to cheers to, you know, just survivorship and just life. And for all my breasties and all my cancer survivors out there, when you feel like giving up, know that we are behind you and we are in this fight with you. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys for taking the time to come out here on a Saturday night to spend with the Black Girls Cancer Club podcast community. And I thank my video team and my production, and I thank my cast. I thank my brothers and my sisters, because this is a real sisterhood and brotherhood. And I love each and every one of you guys, and thank you. Thank you.